time. You're currently under arrest for making off without payment. You don't have to say anything.
But I haven't made off.
We don't mention one question to the little line court. Anything you do is to make a given evidence.
But I haven't made off though.
For your arrest for competent factual investigation.
This story comes to us courtesy of I Spy Audits, a channel known for holding public officials accountable. Make sure to check the link below, subscribe, and give full credit where it's due. In this case, I Spy stopped at a BP petrol station simply to refuel and attempted to pay using a £20 coin issued by the Royal Mint, an official legal tender in the United Kingdom. What should have been a routine purchase quickly turned into something else entirely. The staff refused the coin, called the police, and a matter that should have remained civil spiraled into a criminal confrontation. When officers arrived, rather than calming things down, they escalated the tension, ultimately arresting I Spy despite no crime being committed. That decision later proved costly, as the case was brought to court and ended with a major payout in I Spy's favour.
Never seen them in my life.
So it's from the Royal Mint, so the same place that all legal tender comes from.
Have you got any other means of payment at the minute?
I don't know. Can I ask why you didn't tell me before you started recording?
So when we go to any incident, our tour of duty and our police protocol is to video every incident we go to achieve the best evidence.
But you've got to notify the person at the first available opportunity.
No, we don't.
You do?
Have you got that from somewhere? Have you read that up somewhere? Or?
Yes, your policy. Yeah.
Well, at the minute, we're obviously videoing everything because we've been called to an incident. Immediate response where there's some ongoing issue with payment, whether it's a domestic...
999?
Well, that's what's coming as, yeah.
Well,
just to know what was happening. There was an altercation in the shop, so we've arrived on that instance. Are you going to give me your name?
I'm not, no.
Right, okay.
Because
Is there a reason for that?
Because it's a civil matter, and it's not something that the police can get involved in.
To a degree, you're right. It is a civil matter. We can deal with it a different way, but obviously, ultimately, you haven't paid for your fuel.
From the start, the responding officer showed an alarming lack of professionalism. I Spy immediately noticed her body camera and asked why she hadn't announced it. Under police guidance, officers must tell members of the public when recording begins, and they should do so at the earliest opportunity. Instead of acknowledging that rule, she flat out denied it existed. The encounter deteriorated further when she demanded his name, even though this was clearly a civil disagreement, not a criminal investigation. There was no lawful reason to ask for identification, as no offense had occurred. Whether through ignorance or disregard, her behavior revealed a concerning gap in her understanding of basic police conduct.
I have.
But they're not accepting that money.
But that's up to them to accept it. If they decline...
They've obviously run the post office and they've declined that. Ultimately, it's a civil issue, but if you're not willing to give us your details, then how do we know that you're going to resolve the civil issue at a later date? If you're happy to give us your details, then we can look at the civil issue at a later date.
But that's a civil issue, that's nothing for the police to get involved in.
We don't know your details, do we? So you could technically escape from here and never come back and never deal with that issue, then you'd be circulated as wanted for that, won't you, for making off without payment?
That's not a police issue at the minute.
It is. It is a police issue because you've not paid for fuel. So there's still an offence there of that you've not paid for your fuel.
But I have paid. I've gave them...
But you've gave them this coin, yeah, which ultimately they've spoke to the post office and they've decided that it's not a reasonable amount of payment for your fuel. So at the minute we're sort of hands are tied, yeah, agree with you on a certain instance of that, but we still need a solution today whether we take your details and we deal with it at a later date. I've explained to him to a degree it's a civil matter, however, if he does make off and he doesn't give us our details, we're struggling for any sort of civil issue at a later date. Any details and making off without payment, yeah. So I've explained if he does give us his details and we know where he is and we can contact him at a later date, hopefully this issue can get resolved. Now he's obviously not really wanting to do that at the minute.
Because it's a civil issue and it's nothing for the police to get involved in.
But you're still going to make off, aren't you? Technically without payment, but if we can get your details...
But I have paid.
But you haven't...
And it is their policy to accept the £20 coin.
Has he paid?
Policy? No, he hasn't.
Right, if you haven't paid, and if you walk out the door now...
They've still got the money though.
Just let me finish. If you walk out that door now, you are liable for an arrest because we don't have your details.
But you don't need them.
But I do.
Because it's a civil issue.
But it's not, because a make off without payment is then a police matter.
At one point, the officer openly admitted that this was a civil matter, yet moments later she tried to justify taking I Spy's details to resolve it later. That's not how policing works. Without suspicion of a crime, there's no authority to compel identification. By warning him that he could be circulated as wanted, she went beyond her legal powers. Wanted notices apply to criminal suspects, not people involved in a private transaction dispute. Using that kind of threat to pressure compliance is not only misleading, it's an abuse of authority. If she genuinely believed there might be criminal intent, she was obligated to evaluate the situation carefully. Was there dishonesty? Was there an attempt to leave? Or an intent to avoid paying? None of those elements existed. The auditor stayed put, tried to pay, and simply disagreed about the form of payment, a classic civil disagreement, not a criminal one.
So if you walk out that
No,
door
it's
now,
not.
it is. If you walk out that door now, you'll be getting arrested for make off without payment.
But there is an agreement with BP that
Is there
the
any other
coin can be
way? Is
used.
there any other way that you can pay? Because we're going to sit here for hours arguing. I've been quite respectful to you. I appreciate you have to a degree, and I appreciate that from yourself. You haven't been argumentative with me, and I appreciate that you've been a normal human being.
No,
However, we need
I don't
a
intend to.
solution.
No.
No, I know you
If
appreciate
you
that.
can pay for the fuel now by other means, then that's fair enough. It'll be the end of the matter.
Or if you can give us your details and we can deal with it at a slow time, we can offer you that. But if you're not willing to do either any, then we're struggling with what we have left to do.
Because we can't let you walk out that door without paying. But
We don't know where you live, you might not even be from around here, I'm not saying you are, but you know what I mean, we have people where they'll make off and then they won't give us our details and then we're going to struggle. I'm still going to have that £20 of fuel, unfortunately, with this BP garage outstanding.
Which car is it?
But I have paid for the fuel.
But you haven't paid for the
haven't
fuel.
paid for
Which
fuel.
one?
Right, we're going round in circles, aren't we?
We are, unfortunately, yeah. We've agreed, we've reasoned with you now, we've tried to say that if you give us your details, just tell you where you live, we'll deal with it slow time. However, you then leave, you don't have your details, you don't know where you live, you could live in London for all we know, and then there's still this making off without payment because they will not accept this as payment.
But I don't have to identify for a civil issue.
It technically isn't a civil issue though, is it, when you leave and you don't pay? You haven't paid for your fuel. We've got the payment here, which isn't acceptable, so really you haven't paid at the minute.
I have, because I've handed the coin over. So I haven't got that in my possession, and I've contacted BP head office before coming here.
Right, and was that today then, or?
No,
So when was that then? So you've contacted BP head office before you've come in?
correct.
Right, so did you contact them today, or was it yesterday or last week, or?
It's not up to me to say that.
How's it money?
Do you understand what the £20 coin is?
No, that's why I'm confused.
Well, why are you threatening me for arrest then, if you don't know?
Because it's not money.
It is.
Right. We'll agree to disagree. At the end
You
of the
don't know that. It is. It's
Right.
legal tender, the same as a £20 note and a £10 note.
Right, and who did you speak to from the BP garage, the manager?
It's a Royal Mint who issued that £20 coin.
Right. Okay.
So it's the same money as any other money.
If you get someone on the phone to me who you've spoken to earlier, then we could kind of end the matter here, can't we?
Well, if it's a civil
you're not
issue, I
willing-
don't need
but
to
at the minute
assist
we
you.
don't- But at the minute we don't know it's a civil matter.
But I don't need to assist you in a civil issue.
But you do, because it then turns into a police matter because we don't know that coin.
When the second officer arrived, the situation worsened immediately. Instead of assessing the facts, she jumped straight to threats of arrest. The auditor was still inside, cooperating, and showing no signs of leaving. There was absolutely no evidence of making off without payment. To make matters worse, the payment had already been offered, the £20 Royal Mint coin, which the cashier refused. Under the Theft Act, for the offense of making off, both the act of leaving and the intent to avoid payment must be present. Neither condition applied here. By pushing for arrest under those circumstances, the second officer revealed a fundamental misunderstanding of the law and displayed poor judgment that would later prove indefensible in court.
But if it's
You're
a civil
running the risk of
agreement,
being arrested because you haven't given us his details and you're going to walk out that door and it's technically a failure to pay.
but then it'll be a
Make off
civil.
without payment.
But then I'll sue you.
Well, that's
So-
fine. If you want to sue us, that's fine.
Unlawful
But
arrest.
like I said, we've been honest with you in terms of which way we can go. The staff here have been very honest, okay? And all I'm saying
But he
is, if you
hasn't.
get the person on the phone who you spoke to earlier with the agreement, then that could be the end of the matter. But
you
as
know-
far as I do, then technically, if you walk out the door, it's going to be make off without payment.
He's already accepted to take it.
You haven't accepted to take it. No, haven't accepted to take it. You walk out that door, becomes a criminal matter, and you get arrested for make off without payment.
Or you give us your
You're-
details.
You're refusing to give us your details, and we don't know that vehicle is yours because you're not.
But I've told you
Is it urgent?
that he said he would take the coin
But he isn't now, is
if
he?
I take my mask off.
Right, well I wasn't here for that, so we have no witnesses, unfortunately, other than you and him. Right now I can't view that.
Body camera.
But right now I can't view that. At the end of the day, you've come in, you've paid for, you've got your fuel, you've come in. This isn't a payable matter. Once you leave, we've offered you to give us your details and deal with it that way. For all I know, that vehicle could be registered to somebody else and lived in London. And how are we ever going to trace you?
But I don't
Once
need
you
to
leave
assist
this
you.
situation, it is making off without payment. I can't be any more reasonable with you and give you some sort of options that we can go
But I
with,
don't
but you
need
still
to assist
refusing
you.
to. Are you offering to give
Because
the
you're
staff,
wrong.
not myself, not my colleague, the staff your name and contact number?
No.
Right, so we have one option but two will lock you up then.
Well, I've got a civil agreement in the background.
So
You can prove
I've got
prove that at court.
That's
then.
fine, you can prove that at court.
Right, well, this moment in time, you're currently under arrest for making off without payment. You don't have to say anything,
but I haven't made off.
We don't mention one question to the line. Oh, anything you do is a negative evidence.
But I haven't made off, though.
For your arrest is recorded in factual investigation. Okay?
But I haven't made off.
That you're under caution stop.
And due to the fact that you failed to provide data.
But I haven't made off.
Failed to provide details, yeah.
But I haven't made off.
Right, are we going to go calmly? Are we going to go quietly?
We would go calmly all the time.
Okay, well, do you want to walk with us then?
Of course.
Thank you. Come with me, sir, please. Have you got anything in your pockets that's going to harm me or you? Just take them out. It's just a question we ask everybody.
Can we just take your camera off as well, please?
For some sense and paid £4,000 in compensation, but no apology.
The entire interaction was built on a false assumption that the auditor might leave without paying. Yet he never tried to. He stayed in the store, talking with staff and officers, repeatedly attempting to resolve the issue. The police were reacting to a scenario they imagined, not the one unfolding in front of them. If they truly wanted to confirm his identity, his vehicle registration was visible outside, a lawful, straightforward way to obtain that information. Instead, they ignored that route and insisted on forcing him to hand over details they had no right to demand. By turning a minor civil dispute into an arrest situation, they inflated a simple misunderstanding into an unnecessary confrontation. This wasn't professional policing. It was poor judgment amplified by authority.